One thing that I find so crazy about Ripple is not just their connections to their partners, but their board of directors. And we really need to talk about this. And I want to address a few things happening around Ripple as well, and just how embedded they are within the traditional financial system already. So with that being said, welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. And also, if you guys are not already following me on all social media platforms, you need to be now to make sure that you're never missing out on a future update. There's going to be links down in the description below to all my social media platforms, and also join the free Discord as well. There is a massive amount of information in that Discord, 6,000 members as well, a ton of free information, exit strategies, trading strategies, things like that. So what are you guys waiting for? Go and click the link down in the description below now to make sure that you are absolutely crushing the cycle with the most amount of knowledge and information possible. So with that, let's talk about the leaders behind Ripple. And I'm not just talking about, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Monica Long, the actual employees at Ripple. No, I'm actually talking about the board of directors. This is where you can see some of the connections already back to the traditional system. And not to even mention the fact that there's a lot of board members that left Ripple and, joined the Fed, joined, major organizations, companies. It's kind of crazy. Like, for an example, over here we have a screenshot. Now, this is from Tokenizer. I'm going to talk about this here in a second. Here are 3 individuals. Okay, if we go back, we have Sandy O'Connor here, Anja Manuel, I hope that I'm saying that name correctly, and then James Wallace. Just for reference, James Wallace, who is the main individual behind CBDC engagements with Ripple, he spent 17 years and 7 months at IBM. 17 years and 7 months at IBM, and then he comes over to Ripple. Sandy O'Connor, all right, she's still present at BNY Mellon. She's also present at Terex Corporation. But if we look at her past resume, JP Morgan, 31 years and 4 months. Insane. Then she worked at the FDIC for 4 years and 2 months. She's actually still working there. All right. And she joined Ripple back in 2020. December of 2020. Why is that significant? Well, because it's the same month in the same year where we got the SEC lawsuit dropped on us. Interesting. Then you also look at Anja's background. 1 year, 6 months, U.S. Department of State. Okay. Then she worked at a few universities and then she comes over to Ripple. She's been there for 7 years, 1 month. Now, these are just 3 members here. What about Rosie Rios, who was a treasurer of the United States? Her name's on the $100 bill. Michael Warren. Like, these are very large, prominent names from very large, prominent positions coming over to Ripple, a blockchain-based company that nobody really knows about unless you're in crypto. Do you ever wonder why? It's kind of the same reason why I always wondered why Ripple was the only major company in this space that really got targeted very early on. Was it to pave the way for Ripple to be one of the first ones through the door? Because of all the connections, because Ripple was chosen? Could very well be. But over here we have the team behind Ripple XRP is just different. It's nothing like what you see in crypto, but rather out of a Fortune 500 fintech firm. From private sector Fortune 500's top financial institutions to government bodies and more. There's a reason Ripple is one of the few in crypto that central banks and governments are taking seriously. Just off their solutions alone, you could tell that what Ripple is doing doesn't target the crypto sector directly. While the XRP ledger is open to all, just like any permissionless public layer 1, what Ripple offers on a B2B scale is where the money's at. All right. So yeah, I mean, just as we really look at a few things, what is happening behind Ripple with a lot of these connections, with what is, going on here, it's very hard to view Ripple as just like a blockchain-based company. The way that I look at Ripple is it's a company that is revolutionizing finance as we know it. And the connections really kind of speak volumes here. And it's also through ISO 20022. The world is converging on a new global standard, ISO 20022, the de facto global data standard for modern payments. Ripple was the first member focused on DLT to join the standards body. And when we think about this and we look at this, we have who runs on Ripple. Over 300 financial institutions around the world rely on Ripple's growing global payments network. Payout capabilities in 80 plus countries now. This has grown. Also, I believe that they're up to 500 institutions, presence in 45 plus countries and 6 continents. They are one of the few major players here on the ISO 20022 committee based on DLT. They're still focused on the end goal here, which is the Internet of Value. Over here, our partners. Let's power crypto innovation. Just looking at some of the partners here, right? Like when we look here, it's not a massive list. You can barely really see a lot of the names that are utilizing Ripple. These are just like the public ones that we know about. Over here, you have, solutions for banks. This is their full breakdown of solutions that they are utilizing for banks. The offering here for Ripple is huge, literally huge. You have banks, you have neobanks here, which is launch new digital asset services. You can see, reduce costs, expand your reach, meet the need for speed. Why neobanks and digital banks choose our custody solution. Then we also have payment service providers. They're targeting pretty much everything. Literally everything. It is, to me, crazy on how big Ripple is becoming. They're working with banks. They're working with neobanks. They're working with payment service providers. They're working with crypto businesses. They're working with central banks. They're working with government agencies, organizations. Now, going back to the board of directors, there is one individual that used to work at Ripple. And that was the former chief White House advisor, Gene Sperling. He joined Ripple Labs board of directors back in 2015. You might know this name. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just heard of it recently. Who knows? But who is this? Well, just recently, during the stock crash and all that crazy stuff, Gene Sperling, who's the economic advisor for Biden's admin, stepped down. These are the types of individuals that were on the board of directors, who are also on the board of directors, but when they leave, they go to substantial roles where I'm sure the name Ripple comes up. I'm sure that there's discussions around this new technology. DLT and blockchain is now at the forefront of pretty much everything. So as we really look at this, I do find it very interesting. Now, also remember that although Ripple did get targeted by the SEC, they have been working with regulators around the world. In fact, 40 plus of them. Ongoing engagement with 40 plus regulators. They're working with the International Monetary Fund. In fact, they were selected, literally chosen, to serve on the IMF's high-level advisory group on fintech. Then they were selected to serve on the steering committee of the Federal Reserve Faster Payments Council, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, and then also the Bank of England's Accelerator Program for RTGS payment infrastructure. And by the way, this is from that Transforming Global Payments Enabling the Internet of Value PDF file, where we actually learn this. All right. We also get a viewpoint of ISO 20022, specializing in interbank payments, RippleNet's advisory board and rulebook. Again, here are some of the members. Some of the largest banks out there. Massive giants. When we look at what's going on here, and when we look at the names behind Ripple, when we go back in time, think about this. We're going back in time. We're not even talking about who's on, who's customers of Ripple's today. We don't get a viewpoint like that anymore. The transparent side of things around their partners and their customers have kind of faded a little bit. But we know who has been utilizing Ripple. We know who is working with Ripple. And remember, the digital asset at the center of pretty much all of this is still XRP. We know XRP is still the key to Ripple's entire infrastructure model. We know that. In fact, recently, they put out an insight on how Ripple utilizes XRP for cross-border payments. And what's crazier about all of this is that we continue to see Ripple expand massively. We know that they're moving towards tokenization in a large way. More recently, we talked about the 10 million of tokenized US Treasury bills on the XRP ledger, followed by Ripple collaborating with Archix to bring tokenized real-world assets to the XRP ledger, followed by Zonix and Ripple partners to bring multi-asset tokenization onto the XRP ledger, and also even Axeler to boost real-world asset tokenization on the XRP ledger. Like, this is all this year, by the way. Like, this is all in one single year. Ripple is going all in on XRP. Why is this so bullish for XRP? Why is this so important for XRP and XRP holders? Well, because Ripple has XRP at the center point of their entire business model, okay? Ripple is working with the largest players out there, regulators, central banks, organizations, but also think about the names that are on the board of directors. Why are they working with Ripple? Why are they coming over to Ripple? And I'm not even talking about the employees as well. If you actually look at some of the employees that joined Ripple, they come from substantial backgrounds as well. Why are they coming over to Ripple? Why are they backing Ripple? Why is Rosie Rios so bullish on Ripple? Does anyone ever question this? Why doesn't anyone question, instead of getting so negative about the SEC, why doesn't anyone question why Ripple was targeted so early on? And then after Ripple got targeted, the flood of regulatory action was really kind of ongoing around crypto. Why was Ripple the first ones? I question this so much because it feels as though at this point in time, Ripple is one of a very few chosen names from the space to actually be utilized around upgrading our financial infrastructure. That's why I love looking at these old PDF files. Even though, yes, this is dated a little bit, the vision here is clear. The Internet of Value is still in play. We know that from the largest players out there, like the BIS, that Ripple is now working with as well, okay? The Internet of Value through the Finternet is becoming a reality. This is why I keep doing research, I keep studying, and I keep focus on what Ripple is doing, who Ripple is working with, who are the names behind Ripple. And every single time that I do this, every single time that I study this, it's still so clear to me on how big not only Ripple will be, but also XRP, especially in a world now that's accelerating towards digital. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.